Hello there. Once again, the Labour Party leadership proves it is not fit to govern by showing they cannot even keep their own party solvent. Makes you wonder what they would do to the nation's finances if they were ever back in power. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. Yes, that's right. The party that pretends to stand up for the working man can't even keep its own employees as Labour heads towards financial Armageddon. According to reports, the Labour Party leader Keir Starmer wants to get rid of a quarter of the party's staff as it faces financial ruin with reserves down to 1 month's payroll. 3 general elections in 6 years and a string of payoffs for staff and expensive legal actions have drained Labour's coffers, leaving little else other than a vacuum. So if Boris decided to go to the country in 2023, as some people think, Labour might find it hard to fund a full general election campaign. And if this continues, it could lead to the demise of the Labour Party. And never have we needed a strong opposition as much as we do now. Yes, we actually do need a strong opposition, as we descend into an Orwellian hellhole with Commandant Boris Johnson at the helm of HMS Great Britain, with the next stop apparently being total authoritarian control, mirroring what is going on in most countries around the world right now, it seems. Oh, for a strong opposition leader to make it all go away. Well, that's not going to happen, with Captain Keir Hindsight at the opposition helm, staring wistfully over the rudder into the wake. In fact, he seems to favour even more draconian regulations than Boris is prepared to impose on this once free country. And I'm afraid to say I don't now think anything will ever return to the pre-2020 normal we all knew, loved, and quite frankly took for granted. Because here we are, each day, praying that our government doesn't infringe on our civil rights any further every time they say they're going to ease restrictions. And easing restrictions and Freedom Day have become quite oxymoronic turns of phrase for whichever new fluffy muzzle they can strap onto the faces of the people. All this is for our own good, of course, and to suggest otherwise would be quite irresponsible and dangerous of me. Now, in my eyes, Labour and its followers have become the woke flag bearers of the nation, and once again that cast iron rule comes down like a 1-ton mallet. Go woke, go broke. But Keir Starmer and Labour are still the main opposition in the House of Commons. And if they're as intent on placing controls on the country as our Boris is, then what use are they? And bear in mind, now that Boris claims he is lifting the pandemic restrictions, the wartime coalition approach within Parliament is no longer warranted. But I fear that all we'll see is Labour calling on Boris to impose ever more stringent rules, with the only true opposition coming from the libertarian wing of the Tories, if there's one left, the irrelevant Lib Dems, and a few opposition backbenchers. The rest will want to see more lockdowns, etc., mostly hoping the country will crash and burn, so turfing Boris and the Tories out of office for a decade, and giving Nicola Sturgeon the opportunity to cut and run, taking Scotland into the arms of the European Union. Whatever the damage caused to the rest of us. Now, before I get to the next item, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that buy a mug with my mug on it. You really do help me keep this channel going. And now, stand by for much EU and Rejoiner screeching, as it looks like Boris Johnson and Lord David Frost are about to tear into the Northern Ireland Protocol. Yes, after months of Brussels and Dublin pulling every flanker in the book to try and weaponise the Northern Ireland Protocol in an attempted land grab of the UK territory of Northern Ireland, it looks like Lord Frost is about to pull the plug on them by triggering Article 16. Bearing any last-minute agreement the UK and EU come to, of course. And the UK is being forced down this path by the way that Brussels is trying to implement the protocol. They are trying to use it as a political and trade weapon to win themselves an advantage. The UK sees it as a way of maintaining the peace on the island of Ireland, and the UK made great sacrifices to accept this arrangement. Yes, the UK agreed to a border down the Irish Sea between the two parts of the UK. A mistake in my view, but water under the bridge. And the EU wants that border to resemble the Iron Curtain between the USSR and the West during the Cold War days. And most of them don't even understand that Northern Ireland is a full part of the UK, something I doubt Joe Biden has fully hoisted in either. So after agreeing to this, to have Brussels just spit in our face is downright nasty and unforgivable. And the EU, aided and abetted by Dublin, keep piling on the pressure, hoping the UK will crack and sign up once again to rule from Brussels or even give up Northern Ireland. And this pressure is putting strains on the Northern Ireland economy and is causing a diversion of trade in that Northern Irish businesses that traditionally sourced goods from Great Britain are now forced to look to Southern Ireland and the EU to fill their orders. And this is what the EU has been hoping to achieve, a diversion of trade, and therefore money, using the rules in the protocol so as to drive an economic wedge between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. Now the EU and its apologists in the UK, you know, those rejoiner types who would like nothing better than to see the UK fail and fall before what they see as the infallible and almighty EU, they will all be queuing up to denounce the UK move, which could come as soon as tomorrow, and call it breaking international law. These are the ones that keep screeching on about the UK must implement the protocol fully because Boris signed up to it, etc. And their dronings reveal their ignorance of the truth on the position. So I've got news for them. The UK is implementing the protocol fully. It is the EU that is failing on 50% of the protocol. You see, by signing up to the withdrawal agreement and the Irish border protocol, the EU effectively signed up to obeying the full requirements of the Good Friday Agreement. That is, they signed up to obeying all facets of the Belfast Agreement. That means all loyalist facets as well as all unionist facets. But the EU breaches it daily by concentrating only on the bits they think they can take advantage of, while ignoring the rest. And Dublin breaches it by assisting the EU and trying to ramp up its claim on the territory of Northern Ireland, leading to the new DUP leader, Jeffrey Donaldson, after a virtual meeting with EU Commission Vice President Maros Šefčovič to say, "My message was simple. The protocol has not worked. Even those who supported its rigorous implementation recognise that. The barriers and distortion to trade within the UK internal market brought about by it must be swept away and not replaced." Now the EU, and therefore by default Dublin, also signed up to the withdrawal agreement and Irish border protocol. And in that agreement there is Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol, which says that if the implementation of the protocol causes one side to suffer economic harm or from diversion of trade, then they can trigger Article 16 to stop it. And the EU signed up to that article. Yes, they must obey international law that allows the UK to trigger Article 16 because Brussels signed up to it too. You can't get round it. Brussels will have to sit back and watch. The Eurocrats can bleat on about their precious single market all they like, but there is no evidence that it's been affected at all, or that it would be affected if the UK stopped all those stupid extra checks down the Irish Sea that are only there to give the EU a stick to beat us with. Now, whether the intention is to actually trigger Article 16 is still not clear. There has been talk that the UK will simply pull the plug on loads of the Brussels-imposed checks and reduce them to the bare minimum. RTE reports on Lord Frost that it's understood he will propose that only those goods that are clearly going to the south are checked, and that everything else will be the responsibility of supermarkets, who will use their own traceability systems to account for where a product is along the supply chain, from Great Britain to a shelf on a Northern Ireland outlet. London will insist this is still within the confines of the protocol and that it is simply a way of implementing it. Well, I must say that was the way I thought it was meant to operate in the first place. But overbearing outfits like the EU are never happy unless they control everything. But now Brussels might be forced to look at a technological solution within the island of Ireland to replace the protocol, or, shock horror, have to put a border up between the Republic of Ireland and the rest of the European Union. It's their single market they want to protect after all. So what's your opinion on the Labour Party and the Irish Border Protocol? Please like and comment below.